Are you tired of listening to us talk? I don't blame you. So occasionally, we're going to ask you some questions.
I'm Trapper Bailey. For a living, I work in IT. I'm a systems engineer and I waste a lot of time. I got into racing in 24 Hours of Lemons because I'm just car guy is my hobby and I needed a better outlet than wasting a bunch of time on Jeep forums, basically. So I settled into 24 Hours of Lemons and I mentioned it to a friend of mine who is a driving instructor for a local police force, and he was totally into it. And he and I kind of schemed and eventually mentioned it to our wives, and they both rolled their eyes, said, sure, if that's what you want to do. They gave us a green light, and we started trying to scrounge up friends and acquaintances and put together a team and an excuse to turn wrenches on cars, go to a racetrack. So our car is a 1976 Pontiac Sunbird. It looks like a miniaturized version of, I guess, the Le Mans from that year. And it's running the 3.8 liter odd fire V6. It doesn't make any noticeable amount of power. It makes a terrible engine noise, and it's got a manual transmission, pretty much all stock. The only upgrades we've done to the car, other than trying to make it look as NASCAR as possible, is we put on some Chevy S10 front brakes. But mainly we started with a pretty nice car. We started with probably the nicest Pontiac Sunbird available, gutted it, and then sprayed it with Krylon, and we were off to the races. But it's not exactly what you'd consider a performer. You know, the biggest win in the Sunbird, and it actually amazingly in kind of a small field, it has won Class C. But I think our biggest win is we hauled it out of state, went down to Sonoma, and for some reason that car was contending for Class C all weekend. We ended up losing C to Anton and his Volvo, but ended up coming home with the IOE for that race, and it was an absolute blast of a weekend. You know, the Sunbird has failed to disappoint. It's had its problems. We certainly have stepped on our wieners a few times with that car, but it's got the same engine. It's got the same, I think it's on maybe its second transmission. It has never caught fire. It's never been any nasty wrecks, and it's never been saddled or sidelined rather for the entire race. It's kind of lame to say that it's failed to fail, but that's kind of probably its biggest story. You know, if I had unlimited time and resources to build something for Lemons, I would definitely go down the diesel route. I am a fan of racing diesels for sure. I'm a unfortunate owner of a Chevy 6.2 liter diesel, one of the most unloved diesels in history. But I'd really love to race something with an old Detroit two-stroke diesel. They weigh 1 million pounds, even the smallest ones. It would be hard to imagine putting one in a car, but it would be so much fun to run a two-stroke Detroit diesel that redlined at 2,000 RPM or something like that. So, you know, someday I'm going to win the lottery and we're going to take some time off and I'll build a mid-engine Cadillac hearse with a Detroit diesel. Well, you know, thanks for having me. Let me ramble on like this. Look forward to doing this another time, and I can't wait to see you all at the track.